All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have a super special day today. We have the legend, Mr. Harry Andrews. Of course, we have Gwen, the rock star behind the lens and in front of it. We got a really exciting day. We're going to talk to Harry about everything we can learn from the legend, the master, wing foiling, life lessons, you name it. Gwen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited because also like how it kind of like all started was, when I met you and Harry was like just a huge inspiration. Actually, the first video I ever made with you guys was about Harry, and it went viral. You should definitely, if you haven't seen it, go back. It's on our YouTube channel. And Harry like throwing some like crazy kiting tricks. But not only he's a freak at kiting, but also at winging now. So this is going to be an exciting episode, and I know a lot of people wanna talk to Harry. I mean, people show up to the beach and ask Harry to take a photo with them, sign an autograph or something. So this is good.
Yep. No, it's going to be exciting.
So this live episode, is going to be available later. If you are missing it right now, you can watch it tomorrow or whenever it's going to be public on YouTube. If you want to support this YouTube channel, also make sure to subscribe and to like this video. That really help us a lot. And if you want to go even more into supporting this channel, you can go to Patreon. We will have the link below. And Patreon is a monthly subscription where you can pay $5 a month, basically the price of a coffee. And for that, you will have access to early release of our content. So you get everything we post on YouTube a week earlier. And you also get access to a live show that is private for Patreon only, which is, we're going to go into it after this live show. And then other than that, we also have a podcast now. So this episode is available on podcast because it's a bit of a longer version. It's about an hour usually, or 40 minutes. So it's nice to be able to listen to it in a podcast, so you can listen to it on your drive, while you work out, while you clean your house. So go check it out. Again, link in the description. And now let's get into it with the legend.
All right. So we have the legend. We call him the legend, Mr. Harry Andrews, here with us. And the reason why we call him the legend is, truthfully, he can do absolutely any sport well. And he's an incredible human. And like Gwen said, everybody on the beach is like, we literally did a demo the other day and somebody came up and they're like, oh, well, the legend says to do that. I'm like, okay, awesome. That's great. So Harry, we want to open up first. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And two, we just want to thank you. And a lot of people out there want to thank you for what you've done. One, for motivating, inspiring, and sharing all your knowledge to everybody out there. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thanks for just even inviting me to your show. I really appreciate it. But I mean, I don't know why everybody says that, because really none of that's really true. But I can only tell you, I really just have a great time living, period. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. So go ahead.
Yeah. So like, Harry, like, tell us, like your like water experience. So you started winging like a few years ago, but I think it's important that we mention your experience kiting because, I think this is something that people, should know. You didn't get into winging just, out of nowhere. But so tell us like how it started for you getting into water sports.
Water sports in general. I've always been on the water. My business was on a water-related marina business. And we did a lot of scuba diving. I mean, that was our main thing, spearfishing, commercial spearfishing. And then I saw a gentleman kiting in 2005. It's just before boat kites came out, like 6 months before. So I bought, I went and took a lesson, and I was working on the sea kites with Cabrini Sea Kites. And from there, I went on the boat kites 6 months later and been kiting ever since. I sold my business in 2005, later that year, and then I've been kiting ever since. So 16, 17 years. But I think probably when I was always twin tipping and surfboard riding, not much skimboard. But then I went to the foil kiting. I looked it up just yesterday. I was looking at some old pictures, and it's probably, I don't know, at least 5 years ago. It's when Damo first got the first lift foils, and he just got a hold of them on the beach. And I was at the beach watching him, and he says, "Harry, you got to try it." And I went out, and I just took a beating. I mean, literally a beating. I had so much water on my head and everything, and it's like, but at the end of 45 minutes, I could get up and go one way, you know. And that's just, and the foils were so weird looking. They were, you know, nothing like the foils we have today. Nothing.
Yeah, I bet the foils were like a lot harder to ride back then.
Oh my gosh, it was so hard, but you know, it was so fun. And then, you know, I went back up to the Panhandle where I was from, and I took my foil, and everybody says, "Oh no, we're never going to do this." I went to Hatteras, and hardly anybody's foiling there. I seen Dimitri, one of my old buddies, you know. "Oh no, I'm not going to do this foiling." Now he's a racer, you know. It's like, and everybody said the same thing. "I'm not going to do the foiling. I'm not going to do the foiling." Then though, within a year and a half, 2 years, Damo had everybody converted to foiling, kite foiling, and of course, I've already had a year or two head start on them, and that's what's happened a little bit on winging. Is that I only started winging a year ago, but I've been on a foil for over 5 years. So that really helped me cross over, like do my switching my feet, doing my jives, tacks, or whatever. Well, let me go back up. I still can't do tacks very good. But I'll tell you, it is so much fun. But that's my whole background. And so all my riding, kite riding, is all old school, because I am old, as a matter of fact. But it's all old school tricks. And I like the old, you know, the just simple kiteboarding, twin tipping, you know, slashing waves, board offs, just flying. And that's what kiting's all about. And I do that with a foil too, kite foil. I like doing all that stuff, you know. I watched Damo do everything, so then I try it. He does it in one day, and then 2 years later, I can finally do it. Whatever trick he's doing, you know. So, but yeah, that's my whole kiting and winging story. So winging about a year, and a lot of my kite foiling has came over into winging because it's very similar, except you don't have something pulling you, and when you take your wing out and you release the wing, you're really free foiling, more like being towed in foil surfing almost, you know. So I think that's the exhilarating part. It's true foil surfing. I think it's no cleaner or better form than.
But now I want to know, like, what did you think when you first saw winging?
It's funny because I sat, and it was during a hurricane. I can't remember what name it was. It was 2 years ago. A hurricane came over in the Atlantic Ocean, and these guys were on the Intercoastal Waterway, and I'd seen them going back and forth, and it was gusting 40 and 50, and they're going back and forth and wiping out, and there's a little small area, and I'm watching it. I'm thinking, I don't quite understand this, really, what they're doing out there, you know. I thought, I have no reason to even think I'd ever want to try that. You know, I said, this is like, I don't know. I got a kite in the foil. I'm okay. Then we go to the beach. I'm sitting on Stairway 33, and we're all 4 or 5 guys all sitting around, and we're going, now, why would you want to do that? I see those guys out there. It was Damo and John Modica. And I said, you know, I don't either, because, I mean, I don't understand what, you know, why you'd want to do the foil stuff. You still got a wind, and I didn't really see any advantages. And then it was a windy day, and they were out. And then I seen them get on a wave and glide for, oh my gosh, it was, you know, all the way in for the outer sandbar and in all the way into the shore. And it clicked. I said, oh my gosh, I think, because we've been doing some toe-in surfing behind a jet ski when the waves get big at the pass. And then I thought, oh my gosh, this is the whole deal right here. I said, I've got to try this now. I have to, because this is like toe-in surfing, but you're the guy who pulls you out, and then when you catch the wave, you flag it out, and you're riding. And I thought, now I fully understand it. And it took me a year to even figure that part out, just that, oh, this is definitely something I want to try. And then I tried out in the Intercoastal. Damien was so kind, and took me out there, and we put a foil on the bottom of a SUP, and I got up after a while struggling, but then I felt it, and I said, oh yes, now I fully understand this wing foiling and what it's all about. And ever since then, I very seldom kite now because it's so I guess just it's so rewarding and yet so difficult at the same time. It's just it's always something new, and you're always learning how to ride the wave, to see the wave and cut back into another wave and pump over to this wave, and it's like, oh my gosh, it just goes on and on. It just doesn't stop. So much fun.
So we got a few questions for you, Harry. Here's one of them that I think is a really important one that everybody would want to know. What does the Legend use? What is your setup? So what is your wing? What is your foil? What is your board? Give us what you use.
I have a the foil is a Saab Moses. It used to be called Moses foil, but now it's called Saab foil, SAB foil. And I ride the 1100 front wing, which is a 2100 square centimeter wing with I either use a 483, which is a little slow but super stable, so it's great to start out on. But now I use a 421, which is a little skinnier, and it's a little bit faster, and you can pump it a little easier. So that's my foil. The board is a foil wing. I'm trying to think of the name. Foil wing machines or something. Let me look it up real fast.
That's here. What Dwight up in Cocoa Beach, right?
Cocoa Beach, yeah, he makes them. And the only, how
many liters is it, Harry?
It's 95 liters. It's 4 feet 11 inches long, so it's kind of short.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of buoyancy to it, so it bobs me around really hard. And I'm like 190. I'm not skinny by any means, and so when I get on it, it's not very stable because it's so short and so much buoyancy. But when you get up, it feels like a small board, which it sort of is. And then, of course, I do use Cabrini wings, which I started out on the X2s, and I really liked them because the wing tips hardly ever went in the water. It's like a little shorter of a wing. And then I just recently switched over to Mantis, and I really love the Mantis now. And I started out on the F1s, were the first wings we had, and then went to Cabrini. I'm still in Cabrini, and that's what I'm doing now.
Beautiful.
So now I have a question, because looking back, when you started, you said like you put a foil on the stand-up paddle, like
yes.
But back then there was maybe not that much information. So if with today, with what you know today, if you would start, what would it be the setup that you have right now, or what would it be different?
No, I would plan on having two boards. I went through like, I don't know, 4 or 5 boards already, because I always change it up because I like to try different stuff. And one thing gets a little tweaked a little bit better, so it feels better. And it's like a lot like kiteboarding. If you try twin tip and you go, oh, as soon as it's 5 inch, you go, oh, I love this. Or you go, oh, no, I can't stand it, And so the boards are that way too. But if you were starting all over, I'd probably start with like 110 liter. And there's so many companies out there that make some really nice boards. Cabrina's one, F1's one, and there's so many of them out there. But then I would definitely go down to probably a 5.0, at my final board. And then if you wanted to, my son, who's a young pilot guy, he likes that half sinking board stuff. And to me though, I don't like to struggle that hard. I need a little bit extra. I love the workout, but I don't want someone call 911 on me out there. Some guy just washed up and I don't know if he's alive. That's how it would be. So anyway, I think I'm always going to be on a floating like 90, 95 liter board, I think. So, but yeah, definitely I would start out with a 110 and then go down to 90 or 95, depending. It's all on your weight size.
And a good question that's come up is, and this is a tricky question, I would say, but it'd be interesting to hear what the Legend has to say. But would you recommend anybody trying an SUP first, or would you recommend them to go right to a wingboard with foil and just get started? What's your 10 cents there?
I think that if you use an SUP, if you don't have a foil on the bottom of it, you're going to go downwind, and just expect to go out and go way, way downwind. But it's still fun because you're balancing and you're holding the wing and you're getting momentum going through the water. And I think it's fun. But I think in some respects, you're better off starting with a bigger board. But by all means, if that's all you have right now is the SUP, I'd get a wing and start hanging out there and go having fun. I think that's what it's about. But so that's what I'm sort of thinking. But if you want to dig right in and start doing the foiling and everything, I think you need to get a 110 liter board or something. It depends on your weight, but you want a bigger board and then go out. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the SUP.
That's perfect.
So now, like you started, you were what, like 62 or 63 when you started winging?
Yeah, I'm almost 64 now. So yeah, it's like 62 and 3/4 or 63.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, for anybody out there, looking into wing foiling, maybe being interested, but not quite ready to, or maybe scared to like get into it, for whatever reason, maybe they are too young, too old, too whatever. What would you tell them? To I don't know, share what you would say to them.
Well, it's funny because I have a lot of people come up on the beach and ask me that same thing, and a lot of times it's an older person, and because not too many young people, they'll talk to my son, but not usually me. Usually it's my age group. They'll come up, how hard is that really? Is it hard? I'll tell them, yes, it is difficult, but I'll tell them there's plenty of people. And my son's girlfriend, Kelly, who I think you've seen her on your YouTube channels, she never foiled, never kited before, and got right on the foil board and on the winging foil board. So I think, it's like I tell the people on the beach, you can do it. Your time's going to be a little longer to learn, but it's still going to be just as rewarding. And really the whole thing out here, I think, is having fun. And having fun is what it's all about. And it's like when you start out and you're foiling and you're going back and forth and you're pulling off your jibes, and there's another guy out there and he can't get his jibes. He's been working 6 months, still hasn't got his foiled out jibes. Well, it really doesn't matter. Is he having fun? He's probably having just the same amount of fun as I'm having, So it's like, it doesn't really matter. So the new guy starting out, he's going to flounder a little more, but dang, he's going to have a lot of fun and he's going to have a really good workout. It's really, he's going to have a lot of rewarding benefits out there as he gets up and can foil one way and then finally can foil the other way. Then, you start doing your turns, and it's like one step after another. So yeah, I think a lot of people I've seen a lot of the surfer guys doing it who've never winged before, and they never kited, but they're now they go from prone surfing, prone foiling, and now they're doing winging. So I think they can. And even if you're older in age, I think one thing I'll say is, how are your knees? What do you do? Yeah, I feel it on my knees now. I mean, I do. They will too. But it's as anything, the more you use your parts in your body and keep fluent, I think the more active you will be. It's when you stop and you say, I can't do it, and you're not going to do it, is when you'll never do it again.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Does that sort of help out, I think, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. We got a few questions that just came in, which we'll jump on Ashley Davis. It's a good question. What makes you pick a particular brand of foil, or what you're looking for when you're at a shop and the shop, leans towards one direction, other than just demoing everything? What's your thoughts there, Harry?
I think, it's funny because I think about this a lot, because when you go to the beach and first of all, you're learning to foil, I would ask to see what everybody's using on the beach. I mean, the Cabrina that I think it's called the 1950, is that what it's called?
Yeah. The foil.
Yeah, that is like a fantastic learning one, and you can then later switch your foil down to 16, and they're both high aspect. Saab makes a good one. Go Foil, fantastic. I mean, they were like one of the first guys in this whole business, I think. So I think they're all good, and you just gotta, I think the biggest mistake people make when they go to look for a foil is they don't get big enough foil to start out. And you want stability and you want largeness to be able to get you up out of the water. And the smaller the foil you use, it's much, much harder to get out of the water. And so you'll burn up so much energy trying to get out that your sessions will become shorter and shorter because you can't get out and you're trying to pump and you can't get up and you can't get going. So when you go to a shop, I think I would go to the beach first and see what everybody uses, what foils they like, and then go to the shop, look on YouTube. I mean, I'd go to your channel and I would see what you're saying is, good foils to learn on. And there's every brand, Armstrong's, they have their 2400 and 1850 fantastic foils. They're all nowadays, they're all really good. Every manufacturer's got some really, really good foils. I think it's not like it was 5 years ago. So
yeah, and I think you went through quite a bit of gear, and it's not like that hard to sell it. If you get something that is big, and maybe let's say you just progress very quickly, it wouldn't be a big deal to sell it because there is such a demand for gear right now.
For sure.
So it's better to get something big that's gonna make you progress faster, and then maybe you just sell it and get something smaller.
Yes.
Rather than thinking, well, I'm just gonna get something small because I think I'm gonna progress quickly. I think that's a mistake that people do, especially when they are already kite or they surf or they have some sort of experience on the water. But the truth is, you guys, you were doing all of that before, and it doesn't make winging easy when you learn.
No, it's not. And winging is its own sport, and you have to buy the gear appropriate for that sport. I think, so.
Yeah, and one thing I want to actually mention, because I think it'd be awesome for all the viewers out there that maybe get misled, but this is one thing that Harry does that I've noticed, and I want to bring it up because I think it's important. Is Harry, your foil size is, what size is your foil length, width?
It's
2100 or so, what is it?
Yeah,
2100. Okay, so Harry uses a 2100 foil. But what I wanted to mention to everybody, which I think is really important, Harry will also use that 2100 when it's blowing 30, and all he's going to do is downsize his wing, his handheld wing, because he gets the stability of the wing that he's used to, but he can downsize his tiny little wing to ride the waves and still do the same thing. Now, not everybody will do that, but I wanted to share that, and maybe, Harry, you want to tap on that.
Yeah, it's funny because two things happen. First of all, a lot of times people have the 1100, and then they'll also have the 950 on the saw Moses, or the Armstrong, the 24, and then they'll have the 1500. And two things happen is when you're starting out, if you start out on your big foil, which you should, you really get used to that feeling of how to get it out of the water, how to get going, how to ride the little waves. And then if you switch down to that little foil, it's like you're learning all over again. It really is. It's truly so hard. So, I usually don't switch down because I don't go as fast as the smaller foils, but I'm so used to that 1100, the 2100 centimeter foil that I use, that I feel super comfortable, and I ride in all conditions with it. The only thing I don't use it for is for tow-in surfing, but for all my winging, it's always the big foil, and that way I usually stay on top of water a little better, because if I start switching out, you won't be pulling all your jibes off because you're getting used. It's just a totally different feeling. So that's what I think.
Beautiful. One other good question I think that everybody wants to know is, what does the legend wake up in the morning and eat for breakfast?
It's funny. My wife, Sandy, says she says I'm just about crazy, but we always get the coffee going. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning. Got to grind my beans for my black coffee, and I do a 3-egg omelet. Cheese, ham, and cheese and sausage omelet I make. That's it.
3-egg omelet. Awesome. That's perfect.
No toast, no nothing. That's it.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, my next question, that's a really good question that I think is important, is we lost Gwen, but he's back. Fears. So did you have any fears going into wing foiling? Like, was there a fear? What was your fear? Was it, because there is people out there that have a fear, and I was just curious if you had any fears giving it a shot.
No, I think coming from kiting is where you have that more of a fear factor, because always am on foil kites, and I'm always at the very highest end of the wind range with the foil kites in order to keep that long float that you want to have to do tricks and have fun and fly. And so, if it's 25, 27 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden a 35-mile-an-hour gust comes in, there's times you're just like skimming on the water. You can't even get off. So there was fear sometimes in kiting, excitement in that part of it. And winging, it was just the opposite, actually. I feel super comfortable because many times I just sit down in the water. After I fall, I sit down in the water, sit on the board, and I just sort of like meditate, look at the water, and just get this great feeling. My feet are down in the water, and I'm looking down at fish or whatever, and I'm resting, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And I'm looking at the waves and everybody else having fun, and to me, it's much more calming and more relaxing, and it's generally more fun, I think. Just for those few things.
Well, I think we just proved that the legend doesn't have any fear in life, which is the reason why you do what you do. So it's awesome. My next question would be, what's the most rewarding part of wing foiling? You mentioned your son, wing foiling as well, but what is so rewarding about it in a time of, our world right now and for you?
Gosh, there's probably a couple things. One is being out there with my son. That is like one of the best things in the world, and being out there with friends, and everybody's having sort of like the same stoke. Everybody's having so much fun. I never see anybody not having fun. I mean, even when you have this bad wipeout coming down a wave, and I'll come over and, we'll kid around and say something, or we'll stop and we'll all be sitting there talking like, well, you and I and Gwen have done it many times. I see you out there, you're talking about something. I don't know what you're talking about, a wing or something. I'll stop and say, what's going on out here? This kind of stuff. I mean, it's you just can't pull up in a kite and do that and sit down, talk, and just for a few minutes and everybody gets up, goes again. So that camaraderie, I guess, is really fun. And it's, I think that's probably one of it. And then it's that solitude. You're out there and you get on a nice wave and you're just riding it, and you're cutting back a few places here and there, and then you just keep on riding down the wave, and it's so quiet and so peaceful. It's just, I guess, I think that's one of them,
So, what are the best, your favorite spots that you have been riding at so far? And is there one that you haven't been yet, but you really want to? It's on your list. So, share with us your favorite spots and where you would like to ride.
Oh, there's several of my favorite spots that, well, of course, I'm Jupiter all the time, and I love Jupiter because the water's always so clear here. It's so elegant. It's just so pretty. Then during the wintertime, when the waves get real big, big cold fronts, we go up to Fort Pierce because there's a jetty there, and the jetty goes straight out and then makes a hard right-hand turn, so it protects. That's a big protection area. So you just wade right out, and maybe it's a 1 foot wave, and then you get on your board, pump a couple times, you get out, and you go down south, maybe 100 yards, and you're an 8 foot swell or 9 foot swell. It gets really big, and it's not a breaking wave, but it's just real nice, gentle, huge swell. You just ride forever. So that's another great spot. Third is, I love Panama City Beach. It's really, really, it's incredible there. There's a pass there that's, it's called the Amazons inside the pass. And Surfer Magazine goes there when a hurricane comes because the waves get so big coming in that pass. It's incredible. And you can easily get in there too by a wing, which I can't wait to wing it. But I usually do right at the Jetty Park, and I'll wing there, and it'll be a big swell comes in there, and it's real glassy and just large swell, and it's well protected. It's easy to go in and out of, and the water's clear there too. So those are my favorite spots that I go to, and that's where I'm usually at.
So now, we just released the video earlier this week, which was about how to enter or exit the water when there is a big shore break. And you mentioned Fort Pierce, which is ideal because it's protected and it gives you an access to the water with no shore break, even when there is big waves. What would be your tip for anybody that's there is a shore break and they have to, or they want to get in the water? What would you say? Because I mean, did you ever were you ever in trouble in shore break?
I've been denied many times at the shore break. Yes, and I have ripped holes in my wing before at the shore break. So yes, I'm not an expert at it, but I sort of got a pretty good feeling about the shore break stuff now. And there's two types of shore breaks, I think, in a way. And one is there's a sandbar that goes all the way out, and as it gradually gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And so the waves will be breaking right at that one spot and crumble on in. And the other one is it's knee high, and then as soon as you get right to the edge of it, it drops off almost over your head. It's it's like up to my shoulders. So, but at every shore break, I think when I go to it, I look at it, and I've gotten better at it now than I was a year ago or 6 months ago, because I have ripped wings and I realized what I did wrong and what tried to make sure I didn't get caught in that again. But there's a couple things I do. One thing is on the way out, I get right in the water up to my knees, and I watch and I watch and I wait and I watch and I wait to see when there's a lull. There's always a lull. And if you just go walking straight out and just get in it, a good chance you're going to hit it at a bad time when a big wind set's coming in, and it'll really crunch you up. So I usually wait, and then wait for that one time. And when it looks fairly calm, then it'll be that one time that there is. I charge it like crazy, jump on my board, paddle out just to get right past it, and then set on my board and use the wing to pull me out a little bit further. And it's that the key is sitting there and be patient and watching it, because that's what'll happen. If you just go charging out, you'll get tumbled and turned out. When I come in, when the shore break is really, really big, I take off my waist leash off the board, and that way, and I'll come to the shore break, and I set on my board, and I'll set and I'll watch the sets come in, and I'll wait till I see a lull, and then I come through the shore break. And if by some odd chance, so I still made a mistake, I ditch my board. Now, some people ditch the wing, some people ditch the board. I ditch the board because it's got a foil on it, so I don't want to get caught up with it. So when it's big, I have that leash already undone off my waist leash. I use it's called an axis. It's got a little bungee cord on it. It doesn't drag in the water. It goes around your waist. So I take it off, and I always, when I put my leash on every day, I always put it on the exact same way, so I know exactly where the release is, where to grab a hold of it. So there's always one thing, I always put it on the same way, and I always know where to take it off the same way. And when I get near shore, I take it off, let it dangle in the water, and then I go in from there. I grab the board. So that's what I do.
Wow.
That's informative. That's super helpful, because we all get smoked on the shore break, and it's kind of a game that you play like, I got it. Oh, I don't got it. Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I mean, we have to say that, that is a limitation of wing foiling. And if there is a big shore break, well, it might not be the right spot for the day. And maybe it's a day to go kiting or to go do something else. But this is a limitation. And if you don't feel comfortable, if you look at the shore break and you are like, not sure you're going to make it, maybe just don't even do it.
They have the old saying, when in doubt, don't go out. And it's like, I usually know my limitations. I think we were at John's house one day, Damo, and it's the waves were huge. And they said, "You think you get out?" I said, "No, there's no way. I won't even try it. I just know." I was like, no. That day I went up to the causeway and practiced my jives, and so that's what I did. I went into flat water. So
it was 25 feet. You kind of made a good move.
It really wasn't that big, but just it intimidated me.
It was like a foot and a half, and I got smoked. As we start to wind this down, Harry, is there something that you would say to kiters, windsurfers, people that are on the fence, they're unsure, they want to kind of make this move? And the only reason I ask you this question is because I don't know how many people walk up the beach when you're on the beach, or we're all at the beach at times, and they may have just struggled for like the walk of shame with the boards, and they're all the way back, but they're so happy, even the learning process, right? Yeah. And so I guess, what would you tell everybody out there that's like on the fence to wing, or maybe they're, just nervous about it, or on the fence, or they do other sports? What would you say to them?
I would say I would tell them is that there's a feeling wing foiling that you won't get doing any other sport. It's just, when you first look at it, you don't realize it, you don't see it, and you don't feel it, but then you will, and it's going to be here for a long time. It's like when we started kite foiling, everybody said, "Oh no, we're not going to do that." It's why would we want to have a foil? Well, we all know why now. It's Gwen's out there 10 miles an hour, 10, 11 miles an hour. He's out off the beach having fun out there when nobody else can go out, because a twin tip and a surfboard you can't go out on, but a kite foil you can. Wing foiling is like that. It's like one of those sports that it's going to be here. It's going to be here to stay. And every time I go to the beach, I think we see one or two more new guys. And it's like, and they'll tell you the same thing. Once they get going, oh my gosh, there's nothing like this. This is so much fun. So don't hesitate. If you think you want to do it, you should rent the gear, go try it, go to the demo, try the demo. Gwen's going to be on every town in the United States with us in advance. All the gear.
That's true.
But yeah, get out there and just go try it, and if you think you're going to like it, which most of the time you will, and yeah, you will struggle. And I walked up and down that sand beach, I think, till I had blisters on my feet from walking in the sand, if that's possible. It's like, oh my gosh, I'd go out and I would go downwind. I couldn't get up foil fast enough. I didn't have enough wind. I'd wash up down the beach. I'd walk up. I'd have to sit down and rest for 20, 30 minutes because I was so gassed out. I was just so tired. Then I'd go back out again. Didn't give up. I didn't put a kite up. I went back out. I'm going to keep doing it. And that's what I kept doing over and over. And that's what's the driving force. It's so, so fun. And it's such a hard workout. It is so fun. So.
I love it. A big shout out to Big Wave Holly, Big Bree, all you guys out there. Look, we appreciate you all. Everybody that's tuning in here. This is, like, we're just trying to share the stoke as Gwen travels around the country, and we get to, team up with these people such as the legend Harry here, and just share inspiration and passion and motivation. And the goal is, obviously, we want everybody to live their best life, and we truly want to share that with everybody. And whatever knowledge we can share with you guys, I think, has been the goal. And that's kind of, that's really the goal behind all this. And we're new to, well, Gwen's super techie and awesome. I'm over here like, is the mic gonna fall over? Is what's going on? But I think we'll get better at it, and we'll have some really amazing chats with some incredible humans like Harry here. And we're jumping into a Patreon. It'll be a live thing after this show. And so we get to take some people and really have one-on-ones and chat with Harry and get to know, like, what size t-shirts he wears, and we go way in depth. We get to share his cell phone number with everybody.
the Patreon only live that we are going right now, right after that, you can ask any question and Harry will answer any question. So if you want to be part of it, go in the link below. There is a link to Patreon, and as soon as you sign up for Patreon, you will every week you will get the link to the Patreon only live. So as soon as we finish with this show, we are going into the Patreon only. And any question will be answered by the legend.
Yeah. So,
we'll
kind of tune this one down, and maybe Harry will just we'll end on any positive message you want to give to everybody out there, or anything that comes to your heart. And we appreciate you for being on this channel. We absolutely adore you. We think you're the most inspiring person that is literally changing this sport. I mean, you got Kai Lenny and some of these people doing some absolutely incredible things, but I saw you the other day doing backflips. I still can't do them.
Yeah, it's funny because it's, you say that you think I'm like, I'm none of that really. I think the true people are you and Gwen, and I'm not kidding. I mean, because why did I learn kite foiling? You were showing me what to do. Harry, you got to try this. You're such a motivator. I mean, it's like we talked the other day. Truly, you are the motivator. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm just so lucky I get to follow behind and pick up scraps and learn to do some few things here and there. But it's humbling. And I think the message to everybody that I can think of is, gosh, these are tough times out there. I mean, it's like, you can't can't go get a new car because they're missing some computer chip, and it's just, these are unusual times. But I think being in the water.
Oh,
Oh, it looks
Well-
like we lost Harry's connection.
he's already gone on the Patreon
He's
only
gone.
live. He didn't want to share his message with everybody.
Well, we'll end the message. Oh, he's back. Hold on. We're going to end it. There he is. He's back. We lost him. He's back. All right.
Yeah, I got cut off.
What's the final message here?
Get out in the water, go to the beach. It's one with nature. I think it's just so beautiful, and go down to the beach, no matter if you're on a SUP, if you're swimming, or if you're on a skimboard or what it is. Get out there, just go have fun, enjoy life.
Well, we love you. We appreciate you. Harry the Legend, we're super lucky to have you. Thank you. We are now going to convert over to the live just for the patrons. Everybody out there, thank you so much. We love you. Thank you for liking, subscribing. We're going to have many more interviews with some incredible humans like Harry here. And we'll see you all next time. So thank you so much for tuning in. That's it. We love you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Damo. Thanks, Gwen.
You guys.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.